Welcome to the Fantasy Football Clown Show. I'm Ed, along with Justin and Brad. Tonight, we're breaking down Division C of the Elite Eight and taking a look at teams from the draft position 1 and 2. Brad's going to take it away.
All right. The number one pick in this division was actually the draft guru. He was definitely a person in this league that made a lot of, probably the most trades during the draft that I've seen in this league. He definitely set himself up to win now, but like with his first couple picks that he traded up for, like he definitely tried to get like young studs. Like he went Josh Allen and Burrow. He was able to get a good young QB core. His tight ends are Kelsey and Logan Thomas, which, I mean, any team with Kelsey is bound to be okay, at least. And he went older with running backs, Mixon, Kamara, Penny, but not very deep. Receivers, he has Kupp, Diggs, Allen, and Robinson, Thielen, Beckham, Julio Jones. He's pretty deep there for sure. You could definitely tell he was thinking receivers were probably the way to go to get wins. But I think he definitely set himself up to go for everything this year, especially having no future picks really beyond the 5th round. Whoops, spaced out for a sec. The second pick was Corporation. He I would say is in a win now squad as well. He drafted kind of older with his running backs. He went Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, Fournette. Jacobs is younger, but we don't know what's going to happen with him yet after this year. So his quarterbacks, he's got a few of them. He went Herbert, Tannehill, Trubisky, and Baker, which, I mean, he has guys for the bye weeks for sure, which is probably important for this league, especially. His tight ends are kind of shallow with Hooper and Brevin Jordan as his starters. He'll definitely have to make a move at some point, or maybe with a couple of his picks. He doesn't have any first-round picks, but he's got a second and a couple other picks. But he's in an all right spot, I think.
So, team that drafted 3 was Potson, and this team took a little bit different approach than I've seen across all the leagues so far, as they just decided not to fill their roster. So they're going to go with a little bit smaller group of players, and they do have Mahomes and Wentz at quarterback, but 2 isn't going to be enough because there's going to be 2 weeks that without injury that their 0 is going to happen in their lineup. And then with Javonte and Breece at running back, I feel like that's real solid, especially when you consider that Connor's there as well. So there is some ability to do some things. And then with T. Higgins and A.J. Brown and Tyreek and Mike Williams, Hollywood Brown, Josh Palmer, I mean, there's a lot of depth at the receiver room. However, it's not enough when you start 4 receivers and a bunch of flexes when you don't have anything behind them and you're going to take zeros. It's just you're going to find that the depth just isn't going to be enough, and it's going to catch up with this team even before any injuries happen. And even though there's 2 rookie firsts in 2023, I think there's going to have to be a lot of attention to detail with this team to be able to compete with some of the other teams in the division. So really an uphill battle for Team Potson, but, drafting out of the 3 spot created that challenge is what I'm thinking. Rappy Sledge in the 4 spot. This team is young, but an injury to Zach Wilson really and the suspension to Watson really made things go awry for this team, because right now it has 0 quarterbacks on the roster that are starting. So we're really at a point where there's just no quarterbacks. So starting with zeros in both of those spots is really kind of crazy. And the team is built around a wide receiver room, though, with Jamar Chase, DK, Metcalf, and DJ Moore, along with Sky Moore, so the Moore brothers, and Garrett Wilson and Dotson will help in the future. Kenneth Walker is a running back of the future. And so I think as we look to 2023, once those receivers kind of come into their own and Watson gets back and Wilson's there for a whole year, I think this team will really be a force. But this year, going to be a real challenge to avoid the lottery picks in the late rounds, or the draft. So it's more of a lottery team looking for next year. Justin's going to come back with picks 5 and 6.
Yeah, pick 5, Kamish did a lot of trading in this draft. He traded away his first 4 rounds of the draft, but in return, he got 30 rookie picks over the next 2 years in return. So, but he was still able to put a fairly decent squad together, and 4 starting quarterbacks in Cousins, Matt Ryan, Davis Mills, Jared Goff, and of course adding Kenny Pickett. Also, some great young skill players that he drafted: Bashar Wright, Drake London, Treylon Burks, Terrence Marshall. I'm excited, really excited to see what this team is going to be here in the near future. At pick 6, Jason Paro did a really good job at drafting old and young players. Jason's definitely looking to win now, but only if I think he's going to need a trade for that third running back spot, since he has Lawrence and Tua. But he also, if he can hold off till next year, he has maybe Mike Willis waiting for the reins to be turned over to him, with maybe Ryan Tannehill not going to return in Tennessee. He in his running back slot, he went with Austin Eckler, David Montgomery, Zeke, of course, Tony Pollard as a handcuff, but not much after that with Jerry McKinnon, Raheem Mostert, and Keyshawn Vaughn at the running back position. But at the wide receiver position, he was able to snag Mike Evans, Hunter Renfrow, DJ Chark to lead the way at the wide receivers. He was also able to get Kyle Pitts as the anchor's tight end position, with Hayden Hurst and Cole Kmet to round it out there.
Looking at El Brad in the 7 spot, he was able to draft Russell Wilson and Derek Carr, which really is a solid start to a quarterback room. But behind them, only Jimmy G. So again, kind of waiting for that injury to happen. And then a possible trade, unless that injury is Trey Lance. So really a possibility of taking some zeros there, even without injury, to those 2 quarterbacks. However, the tight end room really solid. Andrews, Waller, and then Njoku and Conklin behind. So you really corner when you have 4 starters that are really, have the ability to be tight end ones in the league. You really solidify that. The lost quarterback points, though, are going to be a real challenge to just overcome to get this team up into the playoffs. So I would say, if I were to project this team, it's going to be somewhere around that fringe of somewhere between 4 and 8 as far as order of finish. And so it's going to really, be in a position where, if it has a chance to go for it, to maybe make a couple trades to get where it's trying to go. So that's where El Brad will be in the 7 spot. And then the Cammer drafting in the 8 spot. This team just got a tough draw on bye weeks, because it has Hurts and Rodgers at quarterback, with Brissett behind as the 3rd, and he's only going to start for 11 weeks as things go right now. And Rodgers is sitting there with the bye week in week 14, as well as John Taylor, the best running back that he has on the team, has a bye week in week 14. So if the Camera doesn't win early and is basically forced to take an L in week 14, it could be that one game deciding keeping him out of the playoffs or keeping him out of that 2 spot. So really needs to get off to a hot start. Needs to be focused on winning those early games, and that's a lot of pressure, because you can't be patient with a team like that in the month of September. You have to just go all out and just kind of cut it loose and make sure you're not going 2-3 in the first 5 weeks, where some other people can really play out the handle a little bit and take a look at their team after 5 weeks and say, okay, I'm 3-2. I can make a run. This team's going to have to start 5-0 so that they can have some movement at the tail end when the quarterbacks go on by, and then also Taylor goes on by. Brad's going to talk about teams 9 and 10.
All right. 9 was Arcagel, and for a guy that traded away his next 2 years of rookie picks, I actually kind of like how he went with his team. He started with Lamar and Dak at quarterback, which I personally really like as a duo. He went McCaffrey and Swift as his running backs, with Hunt, Jamal Williams, Melvin Gordon, Travis Homer behind him. Like, those guys all are going to get something, I feel like. Something I haven't seen other than us three, actually, is he kind of faded receiver a little bit. He went with Cooks, Bateman, Gabe Davis, and Lazard, which doesn't jump out at you at first, but I feel like could actually be sneaky good. And then with a tight end room of Kittle and Schultz and Ertz, he's definitely going to be in a good spot to take most weeks at tight end. So I feel like he's set himself up pretty nicely. Plus, he also drafted guys like Trey McBride to back him up. He was able to get yeah, that's about it. But yeah, like he'll have options in the future, and he'll be able to trade for picks if he needs to, if something starts falling apart. The 10 pick was Miller time, and he definitely went for a win now team. He also traded away his next 2 years of picks. He started off with older QBs, with Stafford, Brady, and Mariota as his QBs. So I feel like he'll have to make a move pretty soon with them, or else he might be in a little bit of trouble in the next couple years. But he made up for it. His receivers are Jefferson, Devontae Adams, CeeDee Lamb, Judy. He's definitely got a stacked receiver room with guys like Doubs, Corey Davis, Marquez Valdes-Scantling behind him. His tight end room is a little bit shallow with Godert and Tanyan. Plus, he doesn't have much behind them. But I think with the way his team's set up, he'll be all right. He'll be able to make some moves and get into a contention race, especially with his running back room consisting of Dalvin Cook, Barkley, A.J. Dillon, Nyheim Hines, Jeff Wilson as the first backup in San Francisco. I think he'll be just fine.
And Justin's going to come with pick 11, pick 12.
Okay, yeah, well, pick 11, be franks. Only drafted 2 starting quarterbacks with Murray and Fields. Bright future for both of them, but he really needs to grab that third quarterback somewhere, somehow, to help with his team here. Nice variety of young running backs here with Mitchell, Dobbins, Harris, Ramondre Stevenson. But however, 3 of the 4 of them have the same bye weeks. So he's going to have some, I believe it's week 10. Yeah, week 10, that all 3 to 4 of his running backs are off. So he's going to need to try to find another some more running backs out there, maybe trade one of them away or something. But his wide receiver core with Debo, Amari St. Brown at receiver, team needs a little bit of work, and if they want to try to compete very soon. With pick 12, the real Brad Smith went and drafted 7 quarterbacks, 4 of them starters, the other 3 backups. Definitely could use 1 or 2 of them to help with this week wide receiver core with Devontae Smith, Jacoby Myers, Robbie Anderson, Brian Edwards. But the best part of his team here, I think, is his running backs are really good. Najee Harris, Etienne, Tony Gibson, Damian Pierce, which is one of my favorite young guys in this coming in from this draft class here with James Cook, and then with Hawkinson, Big Irv, Gerald Everett, and Tommy Tremble to help round out his tight end room here. Still has all of his draft picks and looking to continue to build here in years to come.
Well, that's Division C in the Elite Eight. Again, want to encourage you to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, get all these videos, and come back on Wednesday morning when we give our predictions of who's going to come out of this division and go to the Sweet 16. That's all for now. I'm Ed, along with Justin, Brad. This is the Fantasy Football Clown Show.